things afloat, and honestly, it felt like I owned a job instead of a business. In this video, I'm going to share the secret to building a business that doesn't rely on you, so you can finally create systems, free up your time, and have a business that grows whether you're there or not. When most people start a business, they do it with the dream of freedom. Freedom from a boss, freedom to choose their own hours, freedom to build something meaningful that generates wealth and independence. The reality, however, is often far different. Instead of achieving freedom, many entrepreneurs fall into a trap where the business becomes a job that demands more time and energy than any 9-to-5 position ever did. The problem here is that the entire structure of the business revolves around one person, the owner. Every decision, every client issue, every task flows back to them. This makes the business fragile, stressful, and unsustainable because if the owner steps away, everything grinds to a halt. That's not really a business. It's a high-pressure job disguised as one. The constant dependency means long nights, no vacations, and an endless cycle of putting out fires. This issue is especially common among new entrepreneurs who think that hustling harder is the only way to succeed, when in fact it just traps them in a cycle of self-created limitations. The solution begins with a mindset shift. You have to recognize that being busy does not equal being successful. True business success is when the business can function, deliver value, and generate income without you needing to be directly involved in every detail. To break free from the trap, the first step is acknowledging that you're not just an employee in your own company. You're the architect of the entire structure. Instead of asking, how can I do this faster? You should be asking, how can this get done without me? This subtle but powerful change in thinking opens the door to creating systems, processes, and roles that allow your business to operate independently. It doesn't mean you stop caring or stop contributing, but it does mean you stop being the bottleneck. The solution is about building a foundation where the business is a separate entity that can stand on its own legs rather than leaning entirely on you. To see how this plays out, let's consider a real example. Imagine a freelance graphic designer who's built up a solid client base. At first, things look great, clients are happy, money is coming in, and projects keep stacking up. But soon, the designer realizes they can't take on more clients without working around the clock. If they stop working, the money stops too. Every project requires their direct involvement, and every client expects them personally. This is the trap. The business can't function without the owner. Now, picture the same designer shifting their approach. Instead of taking on every project alone, they hire one junior designer to handle basic tasks and set up a system for client communication and revisions. They create templates for proposals, automate invoicing with software, and document their workflow so that someone else could replicate the process. Within months, the business starts to operate more smoothly. Clients receive the same quality work, but now the original designer isn't buried in every detail. They're free to focus on landing bigger projects, training their team, and improving the brand. What used to be a one-person hustle is now the beginning of a scalable business that doesn't collapse the moment the owner steps away. This example highlights the critical difference between being self-employed and being a true business owner. Self-employment is when your income depends directly on the hours you put in. Business ownership is when your systems, team, and structure generate income even in your absence. The first path leads to exhaustion and limitation, while the second path opens the door to freedom, scale, and long-term sustainability. Recognizing the trap, shifting the mindset, and starting to build a structure that works without you is the key first step in creating a business that delivers on the freedom you imagined at the start. One of the biggest problems business owners face is that they confuse being busy with being productive. They spend all their energy on daily tasks, phone calls, client requests, and putting out small fires, leaving no time to actually grow the business. This happens because they are stuck in the role of operator rather than owner. As the operator, you're inside the machine, turning every gear and making sure it runs. It feels safe because you know things are getting done your way, but the cost is that the business never becomes independent of you. You're constantly trading time for output, which means if you stop working, the business stalls. The deeper issue is that many entrepreneurs start with a skill, like baking, coaching, or designing, and then build a business around it without realizing they've only created a glorified job where they still have to do the bulk of the work. This problem not only burns out the owner, but also caps the potential of the business because it can't scale beyond the owner's personal capacity. The solution is to shift your mindset from being the operator to becoming the owner. As the owner, your role is no longer to do all the work yourself, but to design the systems and structures that allow the work to get done without your constant involvement. Instead of being inside the business every minute, you position yourself above it where you can see the bigger picture and make decisions that shape the future. This means focusing on building processes, hiring the right people, and delegating tasks that don't require your unique expertise. It also means being intentional about where you put your time and energy, asking yourself whether the activity you're doing is moving the business forward in a scalable way or whether it's just keeping you stuck in the same cycle. The transition from operator to owner requires trust, discipline, and the ability to let go of micromanaging every detail, but it's the only way to build a business that can truly stand on its own. For example, imagine a bakery started by a passionate baker who loves creating recipes and serving customers. In the beginning, it's exciting. They're making bread, decorating cakes, and chatting with regulars. But as the bakery grows, the owner realizes they're waking up at 3 a.m. every day to bake, then managing staff during the day, handling the bookkeeping at night, and collapsing from exhaustion. The business technically looks successful from the outside, but it's fully dependent on the owner's constant effort. Now, picture the same owner shifting into the mindset of an owner rather than an operator. Instead of doing every task, they hire skilled bakers to handle production, train a manager to oversee daily operations, and implement software to track sales and inventory. The owner then shifts their focus toward developing new product lines, expanding to wholesale accounts, and building a marketing strategy. The bakery continues to run smoothly even if the owner takes a day off, because the systems and people are in place to keep it moving. The difference is dramatic. Before, the business owned the owner's time. After the shift, the owner truly owns the business. This bakery example illustrates how stepping out of the operator mindset unlocks the possibility of real growth. When you're trapped in daily operations, your ceiling is fixed at the number of hours you can work. But when you act as the owner, your ceiling is determined by how well you can design, delegate, and strategize. The freedom you were chasing when you started the business becomes possible only when you stop operating and start owning. This doesn't mean you abandon the craft or lose touch with the work that inspired you. It means you build a structure where your passion can thrive at scale without you being the one holding it together every single day. One of the biggest reasons businesses remain dependent on the owner is the absence of systems. When everything is handled on a case-by-case basis, there is no consistency in how tasks are done, no clear instructions for team members to follow, and no way to ensure results without the owner stepping in. This lack of structure creates constant chaos because employees always ask questions, customers receive different experiences depending on who is handling them, and the owner ends up being the only person who knows how everything should run. Without systems, small mistakes multiply, efficiency suffers, and growth stalls because every new client or order just adds to the workload rather than being smoothly absorbed into a repeatable process. The problem gets worse as the business grows because the complexity increases, and without systems to manage it, the owner gets buried deeper in daily operations. Instead of working on strategy or expansion, they are stuck explaining the same tasks repeatedly, solving problems that could have been avoided, and reinventing the wheel every single day. The solution is to systematize everything. Systems are the backbone of a business that runs without the owner. They take the guesswork out of operations and create a clear roadmap for how tasks should be complete. A good system captures the best way to perform a task and documents it so that anyone can step in and get the same result. This can apply to every area of the business: marketing, sales, customer service, inventory management, onboarding, and more. By creating step-by-step procedures, checklists, and templates, you turn once complicated tasks into predictable routines. The key is to think about your business like a franchise, even if you never plan to franchise it. The idea is that if someone new walked in tomorrow, they could pick up the manual and understand how things run. This doesn't just free you from answering repetitive questions, but also ensures customers receive a consistent experience regardless of who is serving them. Once systems are in place, your role as the owner shifts to monitoring and improving them instead of personally executing every step. For example, imagine a small digital marketing agency run by one person. At first, the agency thrives because the owner personally handles all the campaigns, writes all the reports, and manages all client communication. But soon the client list grows, deadlines pile up, and the owner is working late nights just to keep up. The lack of systems means every client report has to be created from scratch, every email takes time to draft, and every project workflow is managed differently. The result is inconsistency and exhaustion. Now imagine the owner decides to implement systems. They create a standard operating procedure for onboarding new clients that includes a checklist, welcome email templates, and a clear timeline for deliverables. They design a reporting template so that monthly reports only require updating key numbers rather than starting from zero. They also implement a project management tool where tasks are assigned, deadlines are tracked, and communication is centralized. Suddenly, new employees can join and immediately understand their role without endless back and forth. Clients receive the same professional experience every time, and the owner spends far less time micromanaging because the system handles the structure. What once felt overwhelming now feels organized and scalable. This example shows how systematization transforms a business from chaotic to controlled. Without systems, the business is fragile, inconsistent, and reliant on the owner's constant involvement. With systems, the business gains stability, efficiency, and the ability to grow without creating more stress. The difference is not just in productivity but in freedom. The owner no longer has to be the walking instruction manual for every task because the systems carry the weight. By documenting processes and creating repeatable workflows, a business evolves into an organization that can thrive with or without its founder's daily presence. One of the most common struggles business owners face is trying to do everything themselves because they don't trust others to handle the work. They worry employees won't care as much, won't deliver the same quality, or will make mistakes that hurt the business. As a result, they hold on to every responsibility, managing customers, handling finances, overseeing operations, even answering routine emails. This creates an environment where the owner becomes the bottleneck, slowing down progress and overwhelming themselves with tasks that someone else could easily manage. The problem is that no matter how hard one person works, there are only so many hours in a day. When growth depends entirely on the owner's capacity, the business hits a ceiling. Beyond that, burnout sets in, creativity fades, and the dream of building a thriving, self-sustaining business starts to feel impossible. Lack of delegation not only stunts growth, but also prevents the team from developing their skills and taking real ownership of their roles, which makes them disengaged and less effective over time. The solution is to leverage people and delegation effectively. Building a business that doesn't depend on you requires recognizing that your role isn't to do everything. It's to empower others to do it. Delegation isn't about dumping tasks. It's about clearly assigning responsibility and providing the right tools, systems, and authority for your team to succeed. This means hiring the right people, training them thoroughly, and trusting them to execute without micromanagement. When done well, delegation creates a sense of accountability and ownership within the team, which raises the standard of performance. The key is to start small by handing off low-value, repetitive tasks, then gradually delegate more critical responsibilities as confidence builds. As you do this, you free up your own time to focus on higher-level work such as strategy, innovation, and building relationships. Leveraging people allows the business to multiply its output without multiplying the owner's workload, and it transforms the team into an engine that keeps moving even if the owner steps away. For example, imagine a small law firm where the founding attorney insists on handling everything personally, meeting every client, drafting every contract, responding to every email, and managing billing. At first, the attention to detail earns client trust, but soon the attorney is buried in work. Clients wait weeks for responses and growth stalls because there's no time to take on new cases. The business is entirely dependent on the attorney and stress is through the roof. Now picture the same attorney shifting their approach. They hire a paralegal to handle routine filings and legal research, a secretary to manage scheduling and client communication, and an accountant to oversee billing. They create clear workflows and procedures so the team knows exactly how to operate. Instead of micromanaging, the attorney focuses on high-value tasks, building client relationships, representing clients in court, and expanding the firm's reach. Clients receive better service because tasks are handled promptly by the right people, and the attorney regains time to grow the practice strategically. The firm no longer collapses if the owner takes a week off, because the team has the systems and authority to keep things moving. This example shows how powerful delegation can be when it's done intentionally. Without leveraging people, a business becomes a one-person show that eventually burns out its owner and disappoints its clients. With proper delegation, a business develops resilience, efficiency, and the capacity to grow beyond the limitations of a single person. Trusting others with responsibility may feel uncomfortable at first, but it's the only way to shift from being the sole operator to being the leader of a thriving, self-sustaining organization. The ability to delegate effectively is one of the most important steps in creating a business that runs smoothly without constant dependence on the owner. A major challenge many entrepreneurs face is that even when they build teams and create processes, their businesses are still weighed down by repetitive manual work. Tasks like sending invoices, scheduling appointments, answering routine customer questions, tracking inventory, or managing email can eat up hours every single week. The problem is that these small but necessary tasks, while not difficult, consume valuable time and attention that could be directed towards strategy, growth, and innovation. Without a way to reduce the burden, owners or their staff spend large chunks of the day stuck in cycles of administration instead of doing work that truly moves the business forward. The cost of relying heavily on manual processes is not only inefficiency but also a greater chance of human error, missed emails, forgotten invoices, incorrect data entry. That undermines customer trust and slows down the entire operation. In a competitive business environment, the inability to streamline operations through technology becomes a serious roadblock to scalability. The solution is to embrace automation tools that can handle repetitive tasks with precision and consistency. Automation allows a business to operate more smoothly, reduces the workload on both the owner and the team, and ensures that essential processes happen without constant supervision. For instance, invoicing software can automatically send bills and reminders, saving hours of manual follow-up. Customer relationship management systems can track interactions, schedule follow-ups, and segment audiences for targeted marketing. Chatbots can handle common customer questions instantly, improving service while reducing demand on staff. Project management platforms can assign tasks, set deadlines, and monitor progress in real time, cutting down on endless meetings and miscommunication. By implementing the right tools, a business creates a self-operating layer of efficiency that keeps things running consistently in the background. Automation doesn't replace people. It empowers them by removing low-value, repetitive work so they can focus on higher-impact tasks that require creativity and decision-making. Consider an example of a small e-commerce store run by a single owner. At first, the store grows quickly because the owner is personally managing everything, updating the website, processing orders, sending shipping confirmations, replying to customer emails, and tracking inventory manually in spreadsheets. Soon, however, the business becomes overwhelming. Customers are frustrated with delayed responses. Mistakes happen in orders, and the owner feels chained to the laptop just to keep up. Growth feels like a burden instead of a win. Now imagine the same business after adopting automation. Orders placed on the website are automatically synced with inventory management software, which updates stock levels in real time. Shipping labels are generated and sent to customers with tracking numbers automatically. A chatbot on the site answers common questions instantly, while more complex queries are routed to email. Email marketing software sends personalized promotions to customers based on their purchase history without the owner lifting a finger. Suddenly, the business operates with far less stress and greater accuracy. Customers enjoy a smoother experience, errors drop, and the owner is free to focus on new product development, supplier relationships, or marketing strategies. This example demonstrates the transformative effect automation can have on a business. Manual processes create bottlenecks that drain time and limit growth, while automation creates a foundation for consistency, accuracy, and scalability. By leveraging technology, owners not only remove themselves from daily repetitive work, but also give their team the tools to perform better. The result is a business that can handle increased volume without breaking down, and one that continues to function smoothly even if the owner is not directly involved at every step. The key to building a business that doesn't depend on you is not just people and systems, but also technology working quietly in the background to ensure everything runs efficiently. One of the biggest problems that business owners face after building systems, delegating responsibilities, and even automating tasks is that they often stop there. They get so focused on keeping things running smoothly that they forget the ultimate goal isn't just stability, it's growth. Without a clear focus on scalable growth, the business risks plateauing. The problem with stability alone is that it can create a false sense of security. The business feels comfortable, but comfort can quickly lead to stagnation. Competition doesn't stop, customer expectations evolve, and industries change constantly. A business that isn't actively seeking scalable growth can eventually lose relevance, fall behind competitors, or struggle to maintain profitability. Growth is not about chasing bigger numbers for the sake of it, but about creating a business model that can expand without equally expanding the stress, workload, or dependency on the owner. Without scalability, every improvement remains limited, tied to the same resources and the same effort, meaning the business can never truly reach its potential. The solution is to deliberately design the business model around scalability. This means building a structure where additional growth doesn't come at the expense of burning out the owner or overloading the team. Scalability happens when you create systems, products, or services that can serve more people without requiring proportional increases in time, effort, or cost. This could mean shifting from one-on-one services to group programs, developing digital products that can be sold repeatedly, expanding into new markets through franchising or licensing, or leveraging partnerships that open the door to larger audiences. It also involves constantly analyzing what aspects of the business deliver the most value and focusing resources there, while eliminating or outsourcing tasks that don't contribute to growth. The mindset shift here is that the owner stops asking, "How can I keep this business running?" and starts asking, "How can I multiply the impact of this business without multiplying the workload?" When growth is designed to be scalable, the business becomes more resilient, profitable, and independent of the owner's direct involvement. For example, think of a fitness coach who starts by offering personal training sessions. At first, the business thrives because clients get one-on-one attention and the coach earns a decent living. But soon, the coach hits a wall. There are only so many hours in a day, and income is capped by the number of clients they can personally serve. If they take time off, income stops completely. The model is not scalable. Now imagine the coach shifts to focus on scalability. Instead of relying solely on one-on-one sessions, they create an online membership program where clients pay monthly for access to workout videos, nutrition guides, and live group coaching calls. They build a team of certified trainers to handle local clients, while the coach oversees program development and marketing. Automation tools manage memberships, billing, and content delivery. Suddenly, the coach can serve hundreds or even thousands of clients without working more hours. Income grows, the business expands beyond the local area, and the coach has built something that no longer depends entirely on their personal availability. The foundation of scalability allows the business to thrive even when the owner steps back, because the systems, people, and tools all work together to sustain growth. This example highlights why scalable growth is the ultimate piece of building a business that doesn't depend on you. Stability alone keeps the lights on, but scalability unlocks true freedom. A business that is designed to grow without draining more time or energy from the owner becomes an asset that provides security, opportunities, and long-term sustainability. It's the difference between creating a job for yourself and creating a legacy that continues to expand and generate value, even when you're not directly involved in its day-to-day operation. First, we talked about the trap most entrepreneurs fall into, building businesses that rely entirely on them, leading to burnout. Second, we saw the shift from being the operator stuck in the grind to becoming the owner who designs and leads. Third, we highlighted the importance of systematizing every process to ensure consistency and efficiency. Fourth, we looked at how delegation and building a strong team frees you from being the bottleneck. Fifth, we explored automation tools that eliminate repetitive tasks and keep things running smoothly in the background. And finally, we focused on scalability, designing a model that grows without requiring more of your personal time. Put together, these steps form the secret to building a business that truly runs without you. If you found this valuable, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and drop a comment below with your biggest takeaway.